I'm very sorry to hear that because Pat Robertson is a pretty tough as nails Republican. Pat Robertson said my favorite phrase maybe ever in modern politics. This guy said, this is in a 1992 fundraising letter, he said, "The feminist agenda is not about equal rights for women. It is about a socialist, anti-family political movement that encourages women to leave their husbands, kill their children, practice witchcraft, destroy capitalism, and become lesbians." And you listen to that and you say, gosh, that's pretty radical. But much like Bertrand Russell with the ontological argument, it's easier to think that he's wrong and to quite point out the flaw in his logic. Regardless, Pat Robertson, no squish, right? He's never been a squish. He says Joe Biden is going to be the president.
I think it's all over. I think the Electoral College has spoken. I think the Biden corruption has not totally been brought to fruition, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the Electoral College. And I don't think the Supreme Court is going to move in to do anything. And I think we're going to see a President Biden, and I also think we'll be seeing a President Kamala Harris not too long after the inauguration of President Biden.
That is so depressing. But listen to the way Pat Robertson's talking, at least when he's opening up here. He's not saying this is what we should do, this is what I hope happens. He's being purely descriptive. He's saying, look, there were these avenues to challenge the results of the election. You could do it in court, and you can get to either the state legislatures or before they send their electors or to the electors themselves. The courts, I think, have shut down a lot of cases, but in the real tough cases where they should have taken up the issue, where Ted Cruz said he was going to go argue it before the Supreme Court refused to get involved. They want nothing to do with this. They don't want a Bush v. Gore. They don't want the attention. So they refuse to even hear the case. So courts are out. You could get to the state legislature. Well, the state legislature's already sent their electors. They didn't decertify the vote. So now what, could the electors be faithless? Could we challenge the votes in Congress, in the House, and in the Senate? Yes, there are some members who've said they're going to challenge the votes. The historical analog for that would be the Compromise of 1877. We actually covered it on this show. I think we're the only show in politics that was covering the Compromise of 1877 to give some insight into this election. And the sad fact is, it does not seem that there is the political will to do anything like that. So Robertson, totally descriptive here, saying probably it's over. But he went further and actually went after Trump a little bit, which made me quite crestfallen.
With all his talent and the ability to raise money and draw large crowds, the president still lives in an alternate reality. He really does. People say, well, he lies about this, that, and the other, but no, he isn't lying. To him, that's the truth. He had the biggest crowd on Inauguration Day. He had more people than ever. He was the most popular people. He saved NBC, but with The Apprentice, you go down the line of things that really aren't true, and people kept pointing to them. But because they loved him so much, and he was so strong for the evangelicals were with him all the way. But there was something about him that was good, that God placed him in that office for the time. He's done a marvelous job for the economy. But at the same time, he is very erratic, and he's fired people, and he's fought people, and he's insulted people, and it keeps going down the line. So it's a mixed bag. And I think it would be well to say, you've had your day, and it's time to move on.
You've had your day, and it's time to move on. This is really sad. It's sad for me to listen to this. And I'm not even, look, if Pat Robertson's point is Trump's a complex guy, and he's got many great virtues, and he's got some flaws too, that's true. That describes everybody, except everybody's got flaws. Not everybody has heroic virtues or record of accomplishment. But I see his point. I see what he's saying. And this is going to be a question that is debated for a while. Is President Trump going to continue to lead the party? Is he going to run again, say, in 2024, assuming that Biden gets it this time, or not? Is he just going to go away to the side? I see that there is an argument. I understand the argument of just go away. You've had your time. Now it's time for somebody else. Okay, fine. People, when they leave the presidency, often for ex-presidents, it's good when they go into obscurity. But here's my question. Who follows Trump? Who else? There are a lot of people who want to. Who has the courage, who has the character, who has the chutzpah to follow Trump? I mentioned this at the TPUSA event the other day. I said, I hope Trump lives a very long time. I hope he has a very nice long life. When he eventually goes, as we all go, he may give his body to science. I hope he gives his spine to the GOP. Who's going to take up that Trumpian mantle? Who's going to fight like Trump fights? Who's going to change the priorities of the establishment and at least fight the priorities of the establishment the way that Trump did, singularly? I don't know. If Trump leaves on January 20th, and if someone is willing to step up and take that mantle and fight for that Make America Great Again agenda, then there's an argument for Trump, supporting that person. If nobody does, then I want that fight. I want Trump to be fighting from outside of the office and fighting to get back in too. A lot remains to be seen. I don't have a whole lot of confidence given this COVID relief bill, quote unquote, that just came out of Congress. I don't have a lot of confidence that there are a ton of politicians out there who can step up and who can speak up. And perhaps Robertson would agree. I don't know. He hasn't consulted me on this. But this is going to be, Pat Robertson is a representative of serious, right-wing conservatives, not squishy Republicans, and of people who take their religion seriously. Obviously, Pat Robertson's been a televangelist for many, many decades, describing the cultural issues, the feminist agenda, making people become witches and things like that.